0.45 billion pesos that's in the central office, as well as the reappropriations in the total amount of 135 billion, consisting of 5,913 items already listed in the 2020 GAA but have reappeared in the 2021 NEP, bearing exactly the same technical descriptions but without proof of discontinuance, cancellations, or abandonment. Secretary Abisado replied that he will coordinate with Secretary Villar and submit what is necessary in compliance and in accordance with our observations. It appears that when DPWH belatedly submitted their NEP last September 7, what we see is a mangling of the entire appropriations of the agency in the total amount of 666 billion 474 million 289,000 pesos beyond recognition. Hindi na natin makilala. As I will show you in the course of my interpellation, Now, ang tanong ko lang, and I just want a forthright answer, did their late submission involve intervention from some legislators, or was it entirely their own doing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to clarify what happened, just to give everyone clarity. The ceiling was given to us the day before. I believe the deadline was on the 17th. The ceiling was given to us on the 16th, the day before. So we requested. I actually spoke with the DBM requesting. Obviously, we would not be able to physically finish it in a single day. So the compromise, since we would not be able to reach the printing of the compromise, and we were allowed to do this, was that we would submit a detailed annex that would basically give the details of the budget. So that's what happened. Basically, the ceiling was given at a date very close to the actual printing, which rendered us unable to give the details in such a short period of time. So in coordination with the DBM, they allowed us to submit the details of our NEP in an annex that followed shortly thereafter.
And it was submitted last September 7, I believe, based on the letter.
Kathy, can you confirm the exact date?
So we submitted officially to the DBM on August 14, 2020.
August 2020. So that's well within the constitutionally required period of 30 days kasi August 25 yung submission, deadline ng submission because July 27 yung opening ng Congress. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, hindi na natin makilala yung appropriations, proposed appropriations from the August 25 NEP as submitted and yung delayed submission last, sabi nyo nga, August 14. For example, eto, sa the entire 666 billion, yung general support, admin and support, 15 billion, nabawasan ito ng 477 million. Support operations, ang laki. Nadagdag naman ng from 38 doon sa NEP, naging 60.8 billion. Again, payments ng right-of-way, ang laki rin. From 12.6 billion, lumobo na ito ng 36 billion. What I noticed as a pattern, kaya tinanong ko kung merong intervention na some legislators, ang talagang in general, ang nakita namin lumobo, yung mga local projects, at yung malaki na bawas, yung mga national projects. So I'm not here to make life difficult for DPWH. In fact, ang mindset ko is to help you ease the pressure.
Nawala.
Nawala.
Yeah, I think the Senate at pag nasa office kasi usually
natin nawawala ba?
Senping, yeah, you're a little the last 30 seconds were a little choppy ho.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, ang napansin namin as a general observation, ang laki na nabawas sa mga national projects, yung sa build. Ang nadagdagan, puro local. As you can see on the slides, national roads and bridges, ayan, nabawasan ng 11 billion. Pero yung mga local, lahat puro asul, ano? 43 million, 11 billion, 23 billion, lahat ito local roads. So what happened? Bakit? Kasi pagka nakita natin, especially may nakita kaming mga multipurpose building, ang laki ng amount doon, nasa mga 67 billion pesos. So I suppose dahil ang theme ng 2021 budget is reset, rebound, recover. I wonder how would multipurpose buildings contribute to the reset, rebound, and recover theme of the national budget. Ang tanong ko po, what happened?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to again, thank you for the opportunity to help you to clarify all these issues, and we are united in our efforts to increase transparency. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The numbers that were submitted by the NEP were actually by the DBM. We're actually in a indicative ceiling based on the PAPs. So basically, that was just it wasn't the one that we submitted was based on was adjusted based on our priority PAPs, priority action, priority programs. So that's the reason for the adjustment, sir. The actual submission was just the suggested indicative ceilings by the DPM. But upon of course, seeing as how, like as I said earlier, the ceiling was given to us at a date that made it difficult for us to identify individually all the projects. We had to adjust it again once we finally were able to give the specifics in the budget. Of course, we don't. That's why we wanted to make sure we took our time to make sure that each projects were detailed. And obviously, a few days is not enough time to do so. So basically, the adjustments were made in accordance with our priorities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That one by asset preservation, there's a decrease amounting to 9.8 billion from the initial 56.1 B under the NEP to 46.29 billion reflected sa submission yung September 7, at least as far as the Congress is concerned. Kindly explain the significant decrease, yung 9.8.
In the sorry, sir. Mr. Chairman. In the asset preservation.
Asset preservation. 9.8 billion.
Upon analysis, of course, there are most of our actions are based on the analysis of our operations. Certainly, as you can see, there will be changes once we've done the due diligence. With regards to your question regarding the multipurpose facilities, of course, we also receive many requests from various sectors for these buildings, and we do feel that there is if you look at local communities, there is a need to service them somehow and to give into some. So we do take into account that, of course, national is still the priority. Nevertheless, we also want to do pump priming in the countryside and in communities that are hard to reach. And somehow these other local projects we feel are important in stimulating the economy in areas that may be not necessarily be touched by some of our development programs.
As in a coliseum?
Again, Mr. Chairman, different areas have different needs. I can't speak in general, but everyone has their own needs, and these are based on requests from our operations, and these are requests from the community, sir. So I
understand, Sec Mark. Ang sa akin lang, kasi bound tayo by a common theme, as expressed during the yung General Principles Budget Briefing. Reset, rebound, and recover. Hindi ko makita kung paano yung multipurpose buildings, especially coliseums, would contribute to either reset, rebound, or recover. Yun lang ang point ko. So anyway, next item is for network development. 21.4 billion difference. Nag-decrease din ito. Doon sa initial submission, yung sa NEP, because the NEP is the NEP. Yung late submission, I don't know how to classify that. If it can be classified as NEP or as part of the authorization phase of the budget process. Kasi pag sinabi natin authorization phase, that's Congress. And I would like to find out bakit ang laki ng difference, yung variance na 21.456 billion nawala doon sa ating network development. Ang laki ng epekto nito sa national development, which I believe should be the focus of reset, rebound, and recover.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do believe that national network is very important. And as we presented earlier, we saw a lot of the national programs. Again, we are just trying to do our best to balance the needs of the national. Also, we try to look at the smaller, less developed areas. And that's why we have these local infrastructure projects. That's why we create these convergence in an effort to try and expand the services that we offer, even the smaller communities. So, again, we submit ourselves to the wisdom of the Senate and the Congress. We understand, and these in fairness, these multi-purpose buildings, coliseums, they have many uses for. In fact, many of them were used during this COVID as quarantine facilities. They're also used for social gatherings. I mean, there is some. We do see that there is, especially in small communities, there is significant utility to these projects.
Convergence. Well, you mentioned convergence, ano? Kasi baka makalimutan ko. We noticed na merong natanggal na 8 billion yung leading to tourism. Where's that? Yung sa tourism convergence. Leading to tourism destinations. So I suppose ang one of the hardest hit agencies yung tourism natin or sectors, yung tourism. Bakit binawasan pa ng 8 billion? Actually 8.428 billion ang kinaltas doon sa declared tourism destinations. Hindi ba it doesn't make sense na yung tourism tinamaan ng COVID, yung pa yung binawasan natin. How can we rebound and how can we recover yung sa at least sa tourism sector kung babawasan pa natin do sa yung convergence and special support, no? Sa program as program. Kindly explain.
Well, to be fair, the tourism sector has received from us 104 billion from 2016 to 2020. So there has been significant investments in the tourism. Of course, when it comes to the budget every year, we have to see there are also other priorities that we also want to accommodate. So, it's not as if it also went in other areas that we feel need addressing. But I think overall, the tourism sector has seen a big boost. We see projects such as the Boracay Circumferential Road. We've seen especially to other remote tourism areas. And 15 billion, I think, in 2021 is a significant amount, and we feel is substantial. And again, of course, we also look forward to listening to suggestions about our application. Thank you.
Kasi I remember during the bicameral conference ng sa Bayanihan 2, pinipilit kaltasan yung Department of Tourism ng something like 10 billion pesos. And with the help of Senator Drilon, who was a member of the BICAM, I was not a member of the BICAM. So with the help of Senator Drilon, that was restored. So mukhang ito yung binawian sila ngayon sa GAA or sa NEP ng 2021, binawasan naman sila ng 8.4. So it's not you, I'm not referring to you, Sec Mark, by the way. All of this, alam naman natin may mutual understanding naman tayo rito kung saan nanggagaling itong mga changes na ito, because these are substantial, very significant variance ang nakita natin. Now, next yung bridge program. Ito, importante ito kasi movement ng goods and services. May decrease na 6.5 billion pesos. Bridge program. Ito, napansin lang namin na each time na titingnan namin yung for national development, ang laki na nababawas. And then, ang pumasok sa mga locally funded projects, yun ang talagang sobrang dagdag. So parang nagkaroon ng imbalance and hindi in sync with the theme reset, rebound, and recover. So at the proper time, and I'm seeking your permission, maybe we can make some adjustments in plenary and during the period of amendments. Of course, with your permission, because kayo naman na mag-implement nito, hindi naman kami maggagalaw dito without consulting the agency or agencies concerned, ano? And that goes through with other agencies. So, yon ang ito yung total, original proposal under the NEP 176 billion pesos, ano. Sa yung of the total 29% of the total operations budget of 613, no. Sa submission, the local program is now at 39% at 229 billion of the 590 billion.
Ayun, this is better.
Budget for operations, you know. And please also note that the operations under the DPW submission decreased due to the transfer of 22 billion to support to operations. Nag-increase pa ito ng do sa ROW, right of way. And we noticed do sa right of way, ano mo nga yung sa right of way? Hindi nagamit yung sa 2020, ito. Under DIGA, yung 2019, okay, actual is 3.2, no. Sa 2020, 11 billion. So nung hindi nagamit, bakit sa NEP ang laki na sinabit ninyo, 36.3 billion? How sure are you that you can utilize 36.6 billion para sa appropriations for road right of way?
Well, the right of ways, first, we have a lot of projects that will be at our advanced stage of construction, like was mentioned earlier, from the PPPs to the foreign funded projects, the TRB projects. So basically, there's a supporting list of claimants, etc. And remember also, this part of the list is also those past claimants we also want to service. Now, realizing that in the past it hasn't been, plus electric utilities. So there's a lot of factors into this right of way. That's, of course, that's the basis for our list. And in the past it hasn't it doesn't get approved as is by Congress. So there's still some leftover perhaps claimants that we still want to service. So we continue to request an amount that's based on all the claimants that we have, all our future needs. We don't want, ayaw naman namin na mabitin, lalo na ngayon at palapit na yung end of the term of the president. And we'd really like to see these flagship projects finished before the end of the term of the president.
In other words, you factored in yung mga backlogs, yung mga past claimants.
Kasama din po sa right of way, especially in our right of way payments also.
Yeah, kasi binalikan namin yung mag-asawa na matanda sa Batangas. 2018 pa natin pag-uusapan. Hanggang ngayon daw, hindi pa sila nababayaran, pinagtuturo-turuan. Anyway, that's another matter. I don't have the time to present the video. Maybe sa plenary ko na lang i-present para tulungan nyo naman yung matanda na yung mag-asawa, hindi na makapaglakad. Mabuti yung anak, natanggal sa trabaho, sila nag-aasikaso doon papuntang assessor, sa DPWH. Anyway, that's but I believe that's just a microcosm of what's happening all over the country. Yung mga may problema sa pag-claim nila. And we've been discussing this since 2018. It's now 2020 and we're going into the appropriations ng 2021. Hindi pa rin na-address yung problema ng dalawang matanda, na nakaharang yung kanilang bahay sa kalsada na ginawa ng DPWH. Anyway, moving on, yung sa school building program, construction ng school buildings, yung sa DepEd, meron na sila sa 2021 budget na 12.8 billion pesos. And I wonder why, bakit meron pa ring nakalodge sa DPWH for school building construction, replacement and completion of kindergarten, elementary, secondary school buildings. So bakit parang magulo? Hindi ba dapat, anyway, DPWH din naman yung nag-i-implement sa school building program ng DepEd. bakit hindi na lang ilagay, para hindi na lumobo yung budget ninyo, ilagay na lang sa DepEd yung naka-lodge doon sa DPWH, kayo rin naman na mag-i-implement. How much is the budget sa DPWH? On top of the 12.8 billion sa DepEd?
Yes, we will coordinate these with the actually in general, the general rule is really that the school building should be, we agree with that, so we will coordinate with the DepEd for these
Yeah, just for unity,
yes.
lahat na lang ng school building program budgets, ilodge na lang sa DepEd, tapos DPWH naman ang implement. Hindi magkakahiwalay pa because it becomes a little confusing that there is a budget or appropriations lodged in the DPWH and another item, the same program na nasa DepEd naman.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We can we can make the necessary adjustments. That is a very sensible and very sensible observation. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yung last item ko for now, yung sa right of way. No, not right of way, yung sa MBUC. Ano nga klase yung sa MBUC? Ang MBUC, di ba dapat ito binabalik sa treasury? Bakit ngayon nasa regular budget na?
Regards to the MVUC now is a part of our ceiling. So part of the submitted, the DBM made it part of our ceiling now. So we have to adjust accordingly. Although
Yeah,
we have a very specific set of guidelines for the MVUC fund.
Yeah, we just received a note from some, ang sabi niya concerned citizen, pero siguro concerned congressman ito. Parang selected districts lang daw yung nabigyan ng allocation ng MBUC. 14 ba? 14 districts. Just 40 districts. Out of so many districts all over the country, only 40 districts are bound to receive allocation from the MBUC. Kindly look into this. I'm not asking for a quick reply now. Pakitingnan lang ito so we can discuss this in plenary.
Yes,
Para
Mr.
lang
Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vice Chair Ping. As usual, very detailed, very informative. Thank you, sir. Next, before we turn it over to Senator Kiko Pangilinan, we'd like to say after him will be the majority leader and the minority leader with the indulgence of our colleagues, because I know they have to attend some other meetings. Senator Kiko, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, colleagues. Magandang umaga, Secretary Villar, and to the DPWH family. Magandang umaga. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Unemployment rates are in the mid to high 30s. According to a recent SWS survey, ang ating unemployment rate in September was 39.5%, comprising 23.7 million Filipinos. Given the Build program, and based on the 2021 budget, Secretary, do we have figures as to how many jobs we will be generating for these big ticket items for our unemployed?
Well, we are encouraging, of course. In fact, that's part of our policy now, is to really encourage more labor-intensive work to generate more jobs. In general, labor accounts for a percentage of the project, 15, at least 30%, sorry, of the project is labor. So in monetary value, it's quite significant, and it generates millions of jobs ultimately over the, and not to mention the multiplier effect.
Yes, according to the DBCC, the multiplier effect for construction and job creation, it has probably one of the best multiplier effects according to the DBCC. That's why if you cannot give the numbers now, maybe just submit it before plenary. How do we address the job the unemployment rates and your BBB projects. Paano natin matutugunan yun?
Yes, we can coordinate for the specific numbers.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Secretary. Earlier this month, also, it was reported in the news that the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or the TUCP, raised the alarm on the alleged influx of more Chinese workers in our critical infrastructure projects, such as the Kaliwa Dam and a number of railway projects. Given, again, the huge unemployment rate we are now facing because of COVID, is the employment of foreign workers a condition for the approval of these ODAs, Secretary?
No, it is not. It's not a condition. But given a lot of these new projects, foreign projects, they do come with new technologies, and they do require some specialization. And therefore, sometimes in some of our projects, some level of Chinese work, you see some level of foreign workers, not necessarily Chinese. We have projects with the Japanese, we have projects with the Korean, and they have special skills, special equipments. For instance, when we built the Santa Monica Lawton Bridge, we utilized a new technology, traveling forms. It did require some specialization, but ultimately, we think that this is part of the technology and skills transfer. So I think it'll ultimately prove beneficial to us. But a majority are still Filipino. An overwhelming majority are, of course, Filipino.
My understanding, based on the inputs of Director Alex Bote of the DPWH, that the lending countries may include in their technical proposal this hiring of foreign manpower. But this is subject to validation and approval. Is that not right, Secretary?
Yes. And of course, we do allow, again, there's certain specialization, special skills that, special technologies that they have that
Yes.
we need in order to complete the project.
So can we get the assurance from the good secretary that we will exercise with great prudence this hiring of foreign nationals, considering that you have the power to approve or disapprove, and considering that we do have a lot of unemployed Filipinos given the COVID pandemic?
Of course, Mr. Chairman, we will exercise, we will always be one in this desire to increase job creation in our country. And we will only allow foreign work if absolutely necessary for certain technical skills.
Yes, thank you. And hopefully we learn our lesson from